Country Cover Club is the new partner for Country Sports TV. If you type in Summerall 2, you get a £3 discount. Hello, welcome to Country Sports TV. I've just been doing some research and some thinking. And two things have happened over this year. 9 shooting organisations have signed up to a voluntary lead ban for game shooting for this season, and we're looking forward to a total ban on lead in 5 years' time. None of the shooters that I know have taken it up. They think it's a joke. The cartridge manufacturers are now making biodegradable wads because they don't want single-use plastics used. Well, if you use steel shot, you have to use a cup wad so that you don't damage the barrel. Or, I should say, as a gunsmith, that it will minimise the damage to your barrel. Because I can't guarantee that steel shot will not damage your barrel. People say, oh, I'm alright, I've been using steel shot for years. Yeah, you're alright until it damages it. It's like playing Russian roulette with your barrels every time you put a steel shot cartridge in your gun. That's it, full stop. The idea of the cup wad is to protect the barrel. And they were using plastic. But now they want to go away from that because they say it's single-use plastics. And they've got these biodegradable wads. Now we have a problem. One, you can't get dampness in the cartridge or else the wad will break up in the case. Meaning then you've got a solid mass. Which means then you'll be shooting solid slug, not shot. The biodegradable wads don't seem to open up like a plastic wad would. You know, there's loads of things wrong with this. Now, the problem they've got is they want to try and stop the steel shot rusting in the cartridge when it gets damp. So there's two ways they can do this. One is to coat the steel with zinc, which is some of the steel shot coming in from abroad is zinc coated to stop it tarnishing, rusting. And the other steel shot we've got is covered in oil to stop it. Now, my thinking, I'm only being I was checkering yesterday. I sat down and checkered a gun stock, and I had my mind going on this and thinking, well, we now know that the zinc plating on steel shot cartridges pollutes the water. The report says that. I've proved it. I've shown you this on the last video. So we know that the zinc coating is damaging the wildlife. It killed 100% of the fleas in the tests that they did. The water flea, that is. So now we think, what are we going to do with oil on the... Now, if you can't get moisture in with a biodegradable wad, what happens if you've got oil in there coating the steel shot? Is that going to leach into the bio wad and cause it to break down in the case? I don't know the answer. I am only posing the question. Cartridge manufacturer says it's far too early to come up with any a viable alternative to lead at the moment. Basques say that the cartridge companies have agreed to this. Yet there was a letter put out by the Cartridge Manufacturers Association that they had not been consulted. So who do you believe? The way I see it, now I could be wrong, but this is the way I see it. I think a member of BAS staff must have been talking to a member of a cartridge company who makes cartridges. They may have been talking to a sales manager or a manufacturing director or somebody. And they've said that this is consultation. The cartridge manufacturers as a whole have not been consulted. Therefore, they've said, we have not been consulted. Now, I don't think that steel is a good idea. I don't think steel is good enough. I explained about the tests that have done that shown that steel was 50% less effective than lead. And you're not going to use high performance cartridges. Oh, the plan now! It's already getting out there. It's already in the grapevine. People are saying they're going to have to buy 3.5 inch guns to shoot high performance cartridges to shoot game. Now, when you do game shooting, you want a light gun so that you can move it around, because you may be walking up game, you may be standing on a peg, but you don't want to use a heavy gun all day. If you're wildfowling, you take a heavy gun out, like a 10 bore or 8 bore, like black powder, like they used to. They used to get into a position and wait for the ducks to come to them, and they'd fire 1 or 2 shots. And then you'd go home. But with game shooting, you're shooting all day. You do not want to carry a 10-pound gun all day. Or you try and use a 10-pound gun all day. You've got to think it's like trying to use a 10 or an 8 bore all day. Oh, they've got steel-proofed guns now, I'm told. Yes, but they're telling us that if you buy a steel-proof gun, you may have to buy a new gun every 3 years. They don't know how long it'll last. And what are they, £1,500, £2,000 a time, these cheap ones? We've got to do some serious talking and some serious thinking here. A game gun, when you shoot on a peg, a game gun is around about £6.5. All right? I can remember the barrel man downstairs from me filing barrels to take ounces off the barrels to try and get a gun down as close as we could to £6.5. Hours and hours he was filing that pair of barrels. When I was an apprentice, they used to call me down and I have to file the barrel down. And I spent hours and hours filing barrels. And you've got to float with a file on top of bottom. It's like a inch by 4 inch block of steel, and you've got a file on top of bottom. And it's called a barrel float. And you work it up and down the barrel. And I've filed barrels for hours and hours. And then the barrel man would come down and say, oh, let me have a look. Put it on the scales and say, nah, still want some more off. And then he would take over and finish the job off. But it takes so much time to just take an ounce off a pair of barrels. So you build an English shotgun to round about 2.5, 2 3/4 £. It balances and should balance on the hinge so it balances between your two hands so that you can swing it and shoot with it. And the cartridges you use would be 2.5 inch normally, but now we've got 70mm. which is the same pressures, same load, but just a slightly longer case. But is anybody going to stand on a peg and shoot high performance cartridges? Magnum loads they are. They kick like a mule in your shoulder. If you've got a light gun, 7 or 7.5 pounds, it's still going to kick you. You know, the gun you use is going to have to be about 8.5 pounds so that you can handle it. And who wants to use 8.5, 10-pound gun on a peg and shoot? When you work out recoil, and I haven't got the figures to hand, but we've done it before. You've got what's called units of recoil. And Bard explains this very well in his 3 books, The Modern Shotgun. You take the weight of the powder, the wad, and the shot together. Because when the powder goes off, that all goes up the barrel. And you use the E equals MC squared. So the same force going forward is going back. Then you take off the weight of the gun. And that gives you your units of recoil. And I think it's something like 13 units is sort of like the average game gun. And you try and build a gun. So if you're building a gun for Magnum cartridges, so that you get the 13 units of recoil, you make the gun heavier. So you put heavier barrels on them. Like the Greener pigeon gun. When they used to shoot live pigeons, Greener made what was called the Blue Rock. And there was a pigeon on it. Like a feral pigeon, which is a rock dove. And they could be 2 3/4 or 3-inch chambers. But those guns were 8.5 pounds. They would be ideal for game shooting. But they were live pigeon guns. But you wouldn't want to stand on a peg and use one all day. You know, I'm talking about the average. I'm not talking about Goliath shooting or somebody who's really fit. I'm talking about the average guy who does not want to shoot one with a heavy gun and shoot Magnum loads all day to shoot game. It just ain't part of the game. You know, it's like playing cricket with aluminium bats. It just is not cricket. You know, now, I'm trying to say what I think. I'm trying to explain things to you in the hope that some of you out there understand what I'm talking about and start taking up the mantle and saying, hey, this guy's right. This guy's talking sense. Because I don't believe that people that represent us understand what they're doing. Because if they understood what they were doing, they would be on our side. It's that simple. You know, I can remember having an argument on Pigeon Watch. I was thrown off Pigeon Watch because I think I was winning. I only told the truth. You know, I've been in the gun trade 50 years now. And I got these guys telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Basque said you couldn't use steel in Damascus barrels. Great, that helps my cause. Because what about all those guns out there that are used for game shooting, all the hammer guns that are Damascus barrels, and all the game guns that are Damascus barrels, and all the black powder guns? Can't use steel in them. Oh, that's brilliant for me. I can use that as an argument to keep lead so that we can still keep using these guns. But they say you can't use steel in Damascus barrels. So I had a big long argument on Pigeon Watch with this guy from Basque. David Basque, I think he was called. Now, I don't know if it's David Basque. It could have been anybody in the Basque office that had his login. So it could have been anybody. Or somebody could have been telling him what to type in. I don't know. So he says, I will have a chat with our expert. And I said, oh yeah, really? So he said, I've had a chat with our expert. No, you can't use steel in Damascus barrel because the barrels will unravel. I said, what a load of junk. I said, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. If a gun is proofed, it's proofed to a pressure, not a type of shot. We proof guns with lead, and they were designed for lead, therefore you expect to use lead. But the proof house does not stipulate what type of shot will be used. They stipulate the pressure of the cartridge, if it's standard proof or high performance proof. I said, if you've got a Damascus barrels and it's past high performance proof, you can use steel in it. On the other hand, if you've got a gun that is standard shot proofed, you can use steel 4 and under. So you can use 4, 5, 6 or 7s in steel in a standard proof cartridge, in a standard proof gun. It is recommended that you have less than half choke. Originally, the trade wanted quarter, but some lobbying that was done by pro steel shooters got it to a half. Steel shot cartridges blow patterns. That's been proven. If you look at Dr. Jones's book, Shotgun Performance, it says in there and shows clearly that steel shot cartridges give you a wider pattern. A wider pattern means you've got less pellets on the bird. You've also got less penetration with steel. In my tests, it was 16 to 20% less. In the tests that were done on field sports television, the steel shot was 50% less effective than the steel, than the lead. So the proof is out there. Steel is not as good as lead. Full stop. Anyway, this is Ian. Ran over. And I'm just trying to get you to think. And you've got to think, and you've got to start thinking for yourself, and you've got to start standing up for shooting. We've all got in this game together. I can't do this fight on my own. Anyway, I've set up the Save Our Lead Shot group on Facebook. I've set up the Save Our Lead Shot little mementos, mugs, cups, hats. This is to help me fund the website, which I'm still building. I'm having problems with it at the moment, with logging in, but we'll get there. Anyway, Ian, Country Sports TV, signing off, and stay safe. Country Sports TV is campaigning to save our lead shot. And as such, we've produced a number of items that you can buy to help raise money to run a website and to help me do the videos. We've got a camo hat for Country Sports TV if you want to go pigeon shooting. We've got a Save Our Lead Shot camo hat. We have a blue Save Our Lead Shot baseball cap, and you can also choose 6 other colours if you go onto eBay. We also have a mug in 2 sizes. It's got Country Sports TV on the front and then Save Our Lead Shot on both sides. Added to this, we've now got an enamelled mug, and very good quality one for Save Our Lead Shot. There is a donation in the price for the Save Our Lead Shot campaign. And what we're going to do next is we're going to produce some button badges. Save Our Lead Shop button badges. It's not worth me selling one at a time, because I'm going to have to charge you 70 or 80 pence postage. And they're only £2 each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce them in 5s and 10s and put them on eBay. And if you buy 5, you can sell 4 of them to your friends and get some of your money back. Thank you very much for helping sponsor me. I can't do this on my own. And if anybody would like to help the campaign, please let me know. Message me on Facebook on the Save Our Lead Shop page, or message me privately on Facebook. No problem at all. Ian, Save Our Lead Shop campaign through Country Sports TV, saying thank you very much for your help.